afternoon, everyone. My name is Dorothea. Welcome to my YouTube channel. How is everybody today? I hope everybody is well. And today I said I would talk about Native American tribes, or rather start with one tribe today. But before I do that, I like to read another quote from Darwin Zen, which reads, "It is okay to doubt what you have been taught to believe." So now we start, and I thought I start with the Hopi Society. Okay, so let's do that. From a northerly route via the Bering Straits, the ancestors of the Native Americans, North and South America, migrated from Asia. Also, there was a slight influence of Polynesia and Chinese, and some small Viking presence as well. Creation of great civilizations in Central and South America took place as well. Civilizations of North America were mostly based on agriculture, with maize as a central product. Already irrigation techniques for agriculture were used by the Pueblo peoples of the southwestern states. While a blend of agriculture and hunting was done to set up life in the West, like for instance California and the Pacific Northwest, there the sea made the catching of sea life a means of survival. Later we go deeper into different regions and landscapes where we encounter the different tribes of Native America. But today we will explore the Hopi Society southwest of the Americas. The Hopis, they are also called Pueblos. They settled in small towns and villages of Arizona. Hopi is a tribe located in Arizona where they are a sovereign nation. They have survived as a tribe and to this day have managed to retain their culture, language, and religion despite influences from the outside world. The Hopi people trace back their history in Arizona more than 2,000 years, but their history as a people goes back many more thousands of years. According to the legend, the Hopi migrated north to Arizona from the south, up from what is now South America, Central America, and Mexico. The tribe's teachings relate stories of a great flood and other events dating back to ancient times, making the Hopi one of the oldest living cultures in documented history. A deeply religious people, they live by the ethic of peace and of goodwill. Having inhabited this harsh and dry area of Arizona since the 12th century, the Hopi have developed a unique agriculture practice which is called dry farming. Instead of plowing their fields, the Hopi farmers, they placed windbreakers in the fields at selected intervals to retain soil and moisture. They also have perfected special techniques to plant seeds in arid fields. As a result, they have succeeded in raising corn, beans, squash, melons, and other crops in a landscape that appeared to be unhospitable to farming. Throughout the Hopi reservations, every village is an autonomous government where laws and policies are made by a Hopi tribal council to oversee tribal business. The Hopi tribe is a sovereign nation within the United States and has government-to-government relations with the United States federal government. The Hopi language is one of 30 in the Uto-Aztecan language family. The majority of Hopi people are enrolled in the Colorado River Indian tribes. There, the Hopi are referred to as Pueblo people because the villages are called pueblos in the Spanish language. The Hopi of today are the descendants of ancestral Pueblons who lived along the Mogollon Rim around the 12th to the 14th centuries, after which these cultures seem to have disappeared. Ancestral Pueblos, they lived in so-called abode houses, which are multi-story house complexes like apartment-style houses. In such abode houses, they were made of clay and straw, baked into hard bricks and stone. Each abode unit was home to one family, like a modern apartment. Hopi people used ladders to reach the upstairs apartments. A so-called Hopi house, located on the south rim of the Grand Canyon within the Grand Canyon National Park in the U.S. state of Arizona, was built in 1904. It's the first of 8 projects at the Grand Canyon that were designed to give the Hopi, as historic inhabitants of that area, a place for Native American crafts made by artisans on the site. Hopi House opened on January the 1st in 1905. The Four Corners region of the United States relates to southeastern Utah, northeastern Arizona, northwestern New Mexico, and southwestern Colorado, also known as Monument Valley. There, Hopi lived along the Mogollon Rim. The word Hopi, it means behaving one, or well-mannered, or civilized, polite, peaceful, one who adheres to the Hopi way. Hopi is a concept deeply rooted in the culture's religion, spirituality, and its view of morality and ethics. Total respect for all things, peace with these things, and life in accordance with the instructions of Mason, which is the creator or caretaker of the earth. Traditional ceremonies of the Hopi are performed for the benefit of the entire world. In Hopi tradition, children are born into the clan of their mother, and children are named after the child is introduced to the sun. Then the women gather and name the child in honor of the father's clan. Sacred tradition begins At birth, when the baby is kept in a darkened room for 20 days. In that room, the wall is covered with stripes of cornmeal. 4 stripes that signify 5 days each. The first 5 days symbolize the time spent underground before the first emergence into the first world. The next 5 days is an emergence into the second world. Another 5 days signify the emergence of the third world. And finally, the last 5 days is the emergence into the fourth world. With the symbolic emergence of each world, a cornmeal stripe is removed from the wall. At the end of the 20 days, the baby is taken outside to be presented to the sun spirit called Tewa. I spell it T-E-W-A, Tewa. The child is presented with 2 perfect ears of corn. Many ceremonies are a part in Hopi life. These ceremonies are to dramatize the universal laws of life, and they also unfold the Hopi road of life. To perform the Hopi road of life ceremony, everything must be performed without mishap. No slip of tongue in reciting the texts, omissions of words, no stumble in a dance, nothing of that kind. Everything should be perfectly when they perform that ceremony. Since the entire village depends on a perfect performance in order for the crops to grow so that food for everyone is assured. In July, at Midsummer, the Hopi celebrate what is called Niman. I spell it N-I-M-A-N, Niman. And this is the ending ceremony of the so-called Katchina season. Since the winter solstice, the Katchinam, which are all spiritual beings, they have been on the earth for a time and now must return to their spiritual home. This ceremony is important for the entire village, and the Hopi give intense prayers for hope and peace to all mankind. These ceremonies are a means to dramatize the universal laws of life, and they also unfold the Hopi road of life. This Hopi road of life relates Hopi life to ancient rituals that are still today important to maintain a connection to the wisdom of the Hopi people. Katchina is the ceremony where the performer is wearing a mask, certain clothes, and body paintings while he brings that spirit of that mask to life by dancing. So they have different masks of birds and all kinds of things, and each of that mask has a special meaning when they dance. Okay? The Katchina dancer animates all kinds of spiritual and supernatural spirits, such as the dead, the clouds, and so forth. A Katchina dancer brings blessings to everyone by the power of his performance. After the Katchina period of time, the masks and paraphernalia are returned to the mountains until the next season comes around. So religion becomes a living form, since the Katchina masks become important only when worn by dancers during ritual at at a special time. Okay? The Hopi, they believe in great breathing mountains, in talking stones, and in corn stalks being alive, and all that plays a part in their spiritual world. All spiritual forms are the manifestations of the one supreme creative power, giving meaning to all. The one power makes sure that all is in unison with the constellations in the night sky, the lunar and the solar observations. These truths, they are the way of Hopi life. There is a so-called kiva, I spell it Kiva, kiva, the most important part of all ceremonies. It is an underground chamber where rituals were held by priests of the clans who had the authority to conduct religious ceremonies. The kiva represents the world below, from where the people emerged. This sacred place is a sunken place deep into Mother Earth, symbolic of the womb, and it is cylindrical and large enough to hold several clans. There is also something that is called a peho, P-A-H-O, peho. It's another essential part of the ceremony. A peho is a prayer feather. A prayer feather, usually an eagle feather, but it can be any other feather from any bird that has been purified and blessed. Preparations going into the peho is a major ritual of all ceremonies held in the kiva. There is an ancient tradition attached to the peho. When the people emerged to the fourth world, they met eagle and they asked for permission to live on the land. After successfully passing many tests, eagle gave his permission and a feather to them. He told them to use the feather whenever they want to send a message to Father Son, the Creator. The eagle told the Hopi people, I quote, I am the conqueror of air and master of height. I am the only one who has the power of space above. I represent the loftiness of the spirit and can deliver your prayers. Quote end. There is no Hopi ceremony ever conducted without cornmeal. Cornmeal from Mother Corn is a substance of life. Mother Corn is the same as Mother Earth to the Hopi. So is cornmeal used in different ceremonies, as in the kiva, where the road of life is drawn with cornmeal, and the Katchinas, which are the spirits, they approach the village by following the path of cornmeal. A blockage line of cornmeal is laid in the night of the Wuwuchim. I spell that W-U-W-U-C-H-I-M, Wuwuchim ceremony, to prevent all living creatures to enter that area. So this cornmeal line that is laid shall prevent the people to enter that area. The Katchina dancers are sprinkled with cornmeal as they are welcomed. Every ceremony is announced by the crier chief from the roof of a house. There's also ritual smoking as part of ceremonies because tobacco is a sacred plant used for several rituals. Also, the Hopi collect and try a native plant called Thelesperma megapotamicum, known also as Hopi tea, as a medicinal remedy and a yellow dye. Hopi have many notable people, such as a woman named Diane Humtuva. She was born in 1964 and President Obama appointed her to be a U.S. District Court judge. There's also a man named Emory Sekakwa Teva, born in 1928 and he died in 2007. He was a Hopi leader, a linguist, a lexicon maker, a commissioned officer of the U.S. Army, a West Point graduate, and a silversmith jeweler. Another one is named Louis Tevanima. He was born 1888 and he died 1969. He was an Olympic distance runner and a silver medalist. Hopi also have lots of potters, sculptors, painters, illustrators, basket makers, and Katchina doll carvers. In Hopi society, Wuwuchim is the first winter ceremony, followed by Soyal and then Powamu. These three portray the first three phases of creation in Hopi society. So, that was it for today on Hopi. I hope I could introduce a few things that maybe were not known by some people and that some of you found it interesting. Okay? So that was for today, Hopi Society, and maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow I will start another Indian tribe in the Americas. Okay? So let me wish everybody a wonderful day today. I send out lots of love to everyone and I will hopefully see you back maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Okay? Thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.